Welcome to your training on Edmodo. I'm Miss Sherry or Miss Kurt Singer, and I will be showing you a little bit about Edmodo today. Edmodo is a learning management system, so we'll first look at a simple definition. For an LMS is an acronym. It's just a software application that allows for delivery and tracking of electronic learning course. It's a courseware. And Edmodo happens to be free. There are many out there that you've probably used if you've taken night classes. There's Moodle, there's Blackboard, and we're just going to look at a free one. And for it being free, it's great. In the high school, I use Haiku, so I'm learning to use Edmodo with middle school because our middle school does not have a learning management system. So I'm using Edmodo because it is free. And then with my high school classes, I'm using Haiku. So we're going to do technology together, and this training is going to focus on the learning management system of Edmodo. The training is based around how we might enhance student success with a learning management system. So I'll do a basic introduction to Edmodo. I will model how it can be used. We'll kind of look at a student perspective and a parent perspective. We'll look at student post, student backpack, and files. We'll discuss the features of Edmodo from a teacher's perspective. And then the objectives, when we get finished today, I want you to be able to create a class, create an assignment, create a post, and use the calendar. And then we'll discuss what are some small steps we could take to train our students how to function in a one-to-one environment. And then we'll discuss some of the small steps we could take to start down the path of using a learning management system. If you have any questions, feel free to post those on Edmodo or send an email. And then lastly, I will ask that you do an evaluation. So we're going to look at it from a student side, from a teacher side, and then I'll answer any questions that you may have along the way. Here's a short video about Edmodo done by Naira Dell that I found on YouTube. Just wanted to introduce it to you. It's kind of quick and fast. So if you look here, I just have an example of an Edmodo page where once you've signed in, you will see other groups. I've got a big red circle and an arrow pointing there. That's how you create a class. So once you sign in, you'll see other groups to the left, and where it has the plus sign, you'll hit that plus sign, and that's where you'll create a group. Now, Edmodo calls them groups, and as a teacher, we would refer to those as classes, so it gets a little confusing, but a group is a class, and a class is a group. And if you'll notice here, I have a picture of a student who belongs to two groups or two classes. Notice one says first period, the other one says 602 English Language Arts. And in looking at this, we decided, because a parent can sign up as well, that we probably need to do a better job in naming your class or naming your group, because you want students to remember which class it is, and more importantly, we want parents to know which class and what teacher. So I would suggest naming it something like 602 ELA and then the teacher's name. This one would happen to be Sabrinsky. So 602 ELA Sabrinsky would let the parent know that it is a particular teacher. But if you put first period, then they know what time of the day they have that class. So I think probably the key would be include the period. So first, ELA Sabrinsky, so you know it's first period, and you know which course, and you know what teacher. So as a middle school group, it's real important that we go in and name our courses in a way that kids can easily identify which class, and then parents can identify what period and what teacher as well as what class. So once you've created a group, so I've created a group first period. If you click on that first period class, to the left you'll see with a big red circle and an arrow, there is a code. So for each group or class you create, a code is generated. As a teacher, you need for each class to add your group. Most of the students here at school have had Edmodo accounts already. They used them with a previous teacher who's no longer here. So they already have an account. It's just a matter of them adding your group to their account. So as a teacher, you would log into your account, click on the appropriate class. So if it's first period, you click on that class. To the left, you would find that code. And that's the code that you would ask students to enter in. So for the students, you would tell them when they log in, they see groups to the left. Where the red circle is, I've pointed out that there's a plus sign. They would hit plus, and then they would be prompted to join your group. And it looks like this. And this is where they would type in that code that you have for that group. And then they would simply click join. Now what I have done for you, I have handouts that are printed off. I also have digital electronic copies. So you could pull this up in class where it's circled, telling the kids where to point. But you'll have to obviously pull up your class with your group code. And then once you get into your, once you get your classes created and kids sign up, then you as a teacher, when you start to use it, you have to choose the correct class. So if I wanted first period, I would click on first period. And then I can send them a note. And so I would make sure I'm on the note tab, and I've got that circled in red. And then in the box where the arrow is pointing, this is where you type your note. So it's that simple. I log in, I click on the class period, I make sure I'm on the note tab, And then as simple as that, I type in a note and I hit submit. Now this next slide I just put on there as a reminder, because when you first get used to a dashboard at times, because it's new to you, it's easy to get lost within the dashboard. So I just circled up there in the top left hand corner. If you ever get lost in moving from screen to screen or from one feature to the other feature, if you'll just click that button, that's the home button. So if you just click on the little icon that looks like a home, it will take you back to the home page. And then from there you should be able to get to where you want. So when you start to learn something new, many times there's many features, and this has lots of different features, and you kind of get lost in it. If you just click that home button, it'll take you back to the home page, and then you should know where you are. So we've mentioned notes. It'll also do alerts, and I've circled alerts. That's the second tab. And it'll also do assignments. So there is a third option there for assignments. We're not going to talk about quizzes today, and we're not going to talk about polls. That'll be in our second lesson. And then I've circled over to the right-hand corner the calendar. So the calendar is a really neat feature, and I would think when we're just trying to take some small baby steps, maybe where we could start is by posting content, sending any alerts to students, making some assignments, and then using our calendar to keep us all organized. So if you click on the calendar, here's an example from one of my classes. If a student were to click on it, or if I click on it, they have a choice to look at it for a week or for a month. And then they have a choice to look, they can choose the date they want. And you'll notice there's everything in the top right hand corner. Well, everything would show every class. So if a student wanted to see everything that was going on in every class this week, they could click everything. If a parent wanted to see everything that was going on, like everything that's all your homework for tonight, all your tests that you got to get ready for tomorrow, they can get it all on one calendar by clicking everything. So you notice this is just my class. On Wednesday, obviously, I had a pages assignment, and then I had a performance test. And then on Thursday, I had them to retake their pages quiz. And then you'll notice in the bottom right-hand corner, it says coming soon. So it kind of lets them know what's coming up. They have a keynote that is due real soon. So it kind of lets them know what's coming up. So the calendar feature is really nice when you're trying to organize your students and trying to keep yourself organized as well. So I'm going to log on Edmodo as if I were a student. I've logged on as Mickey Mouse. And you'll notice here, Mickey is in my first period class, and he's in English language arts class. He's got some latest, post from his teachers. And if he'll want from my class, he would click on first period. And then here's his first assignment when he comes in for the day. He's going to read this first paragraph. And then he is going to listen to this audio recording.
A note on the ground that a student was passing to somebody else during our lesson, and this is like a serious pet peeve of mine. I'm not sure how to start this letter, but I feel that we need to talk. I've been thinking about us a lot lately. I really thought we would be together forever, but then things changed. I feel like you started to take me for granted, misspelled on the side note, but that's just because I'm an English teacher. You just started to do whatever you wanted and never asked me about anything or how I felt. I've been thinking about this for a while, and I don't want to hurt you, but I think it's time we broke up. I need some time by myself to see what it is like on my own. Sorry, but us is over, and now I feel, I guess we could say who wrote it. Is that like stepping over the line? Okay, don't hate me forever, but I'm going to tell you who wrote it. It's signed the 13 colonies.
All right, so Mickey can read the first paragraph in the Declaration of Independence and then listen to the breakup letter. And then I have asked him, please post a comment on what these two have in common. And then he's going to reply here. So I just want him to stop and kind of think about the Declaration of Independence and how basically they are breaking up with the Brits, and how these two are alike. And hopefully students will make some good comments and good replies, because in the Declaration of Independence they start outlining reasons for the separation, as well as in the breakup letter. And then after that, I've asked them to go to Wall Wisher. Not asking that you'd be able to do that today, but just showing you how with Edmodo you are able to include other Web 2.0 tools. This is just one example. So if Mickey clicks on Declaration of Independence, Walt Wisher, he can come in and add a little comment about what he knows. And then we can create a class discussion. This can be projected on the wall, on the smart board, and then the class can discuss what they know about the Declaration of Independence. So just a little hook setter, get the kids interested in the breakup letter and how that relates to the Declaration of Independence, and then start to talk about what they know and build some background knowledge and see where we need to take them. So this is the student side. So the students come into the site interacting with the post that I had made. I obviously made this post, and I also made this post, and you can see my name, and you can see it's the first period, and then he can come and reply, and then here he can come and interact with this Web 2.0 tool. So as a student, the student also has a home button if they ever get lost. Okay, the student also has a calendar. So you'll see items here on the calendar. And then the thing that you and students have to remember is when you're in the calendar, you have to click this white X to get out. That's kind of tricky. The student also has a backpack. So if they are working on something at school, they can put it in their backpack, and they can get on that at home and finish working on it. You'll notice they have a turned in place as well, and a Google Drive, but we'll not get into the advanced features, but just to see how students can become a little more organized. They can have items. They can also have folders, so it becomes another storage place. And the storage place becomes nice because they can work on it at home and at school without a flash drive. And then there is a progress button. I'm not going to show grades, but it'll show them what quizzes and assignments they have and what they've turned in. So I'll click on home. So this is kind of a letting you see what it looks like from a student's side. Notice there's a parent code. So a parent can log in. They get that parent code, and whatever assignments you are giving, whatever you're putting on the calendar, they see all that stuff as well, which I think is an excellent reason to use a learning management system, and a great thing to do at the beginning of the school year with an open house is to have your Edmodo accounts already set up, and to go ahead and walk parents through that night if at all possible, especially with one-to-one. They can use their own child's laptop to go in and log into your class so they can see what's going on. And I know middle schoolers, they never have any work to do. There's never any homework. And there always really is. So it'd be nice for parents to come in and see that. And there's lots of papers or announcements that don't make it home, so you can post those right there. And it makes it simple to communicate. So I'm going to log out of the student side. And I'm going to log in as me, the teacher. Okay, So here's my dashboard. I've got my classes listed here, and I can click on the class I want to work within. If I want a note, I simply type the new note. Please reflect on your reading. Include the setting. List of characters and conflict and resolution. Wow, I can't type. And then you click send. So you gotta click send. Okay, there's my new post. So I just want you to see how to do a post. So note, type it, send it. Obviously make sure you choose the correct period. Alert, same thing. You're gonna type it, make sure you've chosen the correct class, and then send. Assignment. I'm just making this up, but you can load an assignment, you can type the assignment, you can put the description here, which is what I like to do. Kind of a scoring rubric of what I want, things that I want in it. You can lock this assignment after its due date. And with the assignment, the most important thing to remember is to put a due date. Okay, really, and it automatically will put it on your calendar and automatically shows up in the student's calendar. So then I can lock this assignment after the due date and they can no longer turn it in, or I can just leave it unlocked. It depends on how your school functions or your policy functions. You can attach a rubric. Here's a file to attach a rubric. I like to put it in the description so it's all right there on the page and there's no question. They don't have to go anyplace extra. You could link to a website with an example if you wanted, or to a video if you wanted. And then library, we're not going to talk a whole lot about, but as a teacher you can store items in your own library, which becomes useful later because you can draw from those different items you stored, whether they be YouTube videos, websites you want them to read. And then you can even schedule a message. So if you don't want this message to go out today, but you want to go out tomorrow, you can work ahead of time. And so it doesn't show up until you want it to show up. Those are some kind of advanced features, just mentioning them now, but you would hit send. So that's how you do an assignment. And then there is the assignment, and you'll notice no one has turned it in. So on my dashboard, you can unlock this. That's the group code. And that's where you would go first period if you want your class students to sign in. You give them that code. And then you can see your members. So if you click here, I've got Daisy Duck, Donald Duck, Goofy, Mickey, Minnie. You could create smaller groups if you wanted. So just a thought, you can do differentiated lessons. So you have different activities for different groups within your room. Within first period if you want to differentiate. And over here is the calendar. Okay, progress. So you can pick your class. I'm going to go to sixth period. And then you can see here assignments, quizzes, whether they've turned things in, quizzes that they've taken, what their grades are. And then there's a library where I've started to store some information. And then I always say back to home if you get lost. Alright, so teacher dashboard. This training really is just meant for you to do some basic things just to get started. And I'm going to show you last thing that's not part of a basic. So if you go to this, there are communities you can join. And so I have joined a computer technology community. And then what you'll find are any kind of posts, teachers asking each other questions. So it is a great collaboration tool. post a question, and you've got all kinds of teachers answering you and responding how they use or what resources that they use, or links to other lessons and so forth. I have found that to be very, very, very helpful. So you can see the different communities over here that I'm following at this time. All right, so let's just review real quick. We want you to create an account. We want you to create groups. Here's the plus sign. And you choose create. And then you just type in the class. And then type in the grade. So expected group size, we're going to say 26 plus. And then there you will see my new group, second period, tech ed. And then there is the teacher code. So I would have my students, when they come into class, I would have this up there for them. I would have them to log into their accounts. I would ask them to click on the plus sign for groups. And then when it says join, they would put this code in. And I have handouts that I showed you earlier. And then the next thing I want you to be able to do is make a post. Okay, so there's my second period class. I hit send. And I want you to be able to do an alert. So we want students to follow the acceptable use policy when using the computer. And then I'd like for you to create an assignment. So you click on the assignment tab. All right. So when's it due? Okay, so I've got a due date on it. Description of the assignment. Your opinion. I'm just making stuff up at this point. Your opinion. And then I hit send. So I showed you how to use the note, which is making a post, the alert, the assignment, and then over here's the calendar. That I created an assignment, asked a question, keynote, it showed up automatically. But let's say I was scheduling a field trip. I'm not, but let's just say I am. So I'd hit the plus sign, and then up here where it says description, I would say field trip. And then put the date of the field trip, and then the group. Well, let's say it's on my second period class that's going. So second period Kurt Singer or second period Tech Ed. Okay, and then click create. And then it'll show up here. And once you're in the calendar, you got to click the X. All right, I think it's pretty intuitive, and you're not going to break anything. You're not going to hurt anything. It does not hurt, to click around. But this is your dashboard. Don't know how familiar you are with Facebook. I really don't use Facebook, but most people say this is like a Facebook type format. The feeds keep going. The good news is you can delete items. So right now I have it open where students can come in and make comments. I go in and clean stuff up. I delete after I've read some of their comments and scored them and so forth. I will delete a lot of the mess. It's up to you how you want to manage. So if I don't want that, I just hit delete. So there is a settings button, and you just choose delete post. You can have several other options there. But it's really, really simple. All right, so here is your assignment. I would like for you to go to Edmodo, and then once you add my group, I have posted your assignment just as a reminder. Some of the objectives were for you to create an account, create a class, enroll students, create a post, create an assignment, and add an item to the calendar. So those are the objectives, and that is your assessment, if you can do those things successfully. And then I've asked, once you do those items, that you would make a reply. What are some small steps we could take to start down the path of using a learning management system? And then what are some small steps we could take to train students how to function in a one-to-one environment? So reply with your thoughts there. And then also reply to how might we enhance student success with the learning management system. So how could this help students succeed? And then lastly, make sure you post your group code so that I may see your work. So my assessment will be to join your groups to see that you actually created an account, created a class, created a post, and added an item to the calendar and an assignment. So best wishes. I will also post on here an evaluation form for you to fill out. I will probably do that in the form of a poll. So you'll see here's a poll. So thank you so much for your time. Contact me if you need any help. I hope the training has been useful to you.